Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another exercise on Leetcode. Today it's about the goal parser interpretation. So I guess it's coming from like a football scenario. So basically, from this exercise, if you're given a command and you see G in that command, you interpret it as G. If you see the open and closing parenthesis with nothing inside, interpret it as O. And if you see the open and closing parameter with AL inside, you interpret as just AL. This is an example here. G is G, open close is O, and open close with AL is AL. It extrapolates here, like you can see, go with O and the rest. So we have to look through this command and break it down by letter or parenthesis symbols. So we're gonna do that with a while loop. You will see why. So I'm going to have my looping variable I as usual 0, and I'm going to have a variable that is going to have the answer at the end in the form of an array. I'm going to construct this as an array. Okay, so let's start the loop. So I is going to loop till the end of the command. So while looping, if we see I to be equal to G, then inside our answer we're going to push the character G inside. So as I'm looping over, I'm going to, if I detect G, I'm going to put G inside my array. So I'll be going ahead and constructing that way, and I is going to increment to 1, because when I see G, I interpret it, then I go to the next character. I'm going to make this open braces for this example 2, for example, and then the second scenario is if we meet the character open braces. Now we have two scenarios. When we meet open braces, it can either be the open close with nothing inside or with AL inside. So we evaluate the second character. So if the second character placed at I plus 1 is different from the closing parenthesis, it means we are at the AL. So inside answer, we're going to push here. Okay. Else it means the closing. It means the next character is actually the closing parenthesis. So we're going to push O. At the end, we'll have our answer interpreted with the console.log so that you can see what we're talking about. Oops, we have to debug, we have some errors. Oh, we're not done. Also, let's run it again so that you can see. So you can see fatal error, call and retry last allocation for JavaScript heap out of memory. Heap out of memory is usually when you will overload the memory, like something running without stopping here, because we haven't control the variable that permits to get out of the while loop, which is the I at this second if. So let's come back here. If we meet the closing, if we meet the opening parenthesis, let's start from that, and the next is not the closing, it means we are at this particular scenario, open AL and close. So if that's the case, once we interpret the whole of the string, which occupies 4 characters, we have to just keep and go to the next possible letter for the goal. So I is going to skip by 4. And for this one, I is going to skip by 2 because we have the open and closing parentheses, which is 2 characters. So when we're done interpreting, we skip 2. I think that should be the reason. Since this wasn't control, we have that heap error below. So let's display again our answer. We get something like this. This is the array I was constructing. So now we just have to join everything together as a string and return. So we're going to return answer.join. Right, we're good to go. Let's submit. So this is it, and I'll be glad to have in the comments any other procedure that can be used to optimize this, but for now this is what I have for you, and see you on another video.